Welcome to the Get Published podcast, sponsored by Brodie Consulting Group. To get more information about our coaching, publishing, executive ghostwriting, and podcast production services, go to getpublishedpodcast.com. Hello, I am Paul Brodie, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Get Published podcast, where we help authors get published with a proven system that works. Today, we're being joined by Corey Callaway, who is part of our Get Published business book, both our first book and our second. Corey, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon.
All right, Corey, are you ready to get started with our questions?
Sure.
All right, question number one. What is the one piece of advice that you would give to a first-time author who is currently writing their book?
Just start writing. Myself, I type on my computer, and you just don't worry about the typos or errors. Just get your thoughts out on the blank screen. Keep typing until you got a stopping point, then go back and clean up afterwards.
It's amazing, all right? You just get started. I think that's the key thing because, the great philosopher Lao Tzu always said the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first steps, and it's just getting started and seeing where the process goes from there. Well, Corey, what do you feel is the hardest part about getting published?
Finding the time and being motivated to sit down and do it.
Excellent. And what do you feel is the hardest part of the process, do you feel? Just getting that started or editing, proofreading? What's some of those hardest pieces that you found?
Just the motivation to start writing and finding the time to, kind of sit down and focus on it.
Got it. Well, let's talk about marketing. So please share a marketing strategy that you have used with our book launch that has worked well.
Well, the funnest part was the book launch party at Texas Live, and I was part of the panel, the question and answer panel, which was great fun. We're in front of about 100 people, and they get to know you personally and listen to you intently. So that was a great marketing strategy.
So you mentioned you're part of our panel, and it was quite a lot of diversity there. We had 6 people. We had our bookends. We had our 8-year-old author. We had our 82-year-old author. And then we had you as part of that process in between. We had our CEO of the Chamber of Commerce was there. One of our other big businesses, 3DI Sign and Design, was there. So it was just so great to have you guys as part of that process. And for our listeners, what we did was we actually focused on several questions that each one of our panelists answered. And I got to say, it really was a fun process having y'all take part with that.
It was fun being a part of it.
Well, speaking of books, I'd like to know what is your favorite book and what was the number one thing that you learned from it?
Well, currently my favorite book is Generational Selling. I have a stack of them I've been working through trying to improve myself. I'm actually tomorrow morning teaching generational selling to a bunch of investment advisors. It's not about selling to different generations, but really learning about we have 4 different generations that you're actually marketing to today. We have millennials, we have Gen Xers, we have the baby boomers, and we have the maturers, which are the folks that grew up during World War II. We also have a 5th generation that's coming up, and that's the Gen Zs. They're just in college right now, but each generation has their own focus, likes, dislikes, circumstances, and it really taught me better to understand and communicate with millennials and Gen Xers.
Excellent. And for a final question, what is your favorite quote and why?
Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. And that's by Oscar Wilde. Why try to be someone else? Why be somebody that's fake? I like dealing with realistic people, not fake people. Just a turn off.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I like people that are direct to the point and aren't afraid to be a little bit polarizing. Strong views are a good thing. Much better to have strong views than just be wishy-washy.
most certainly. I can't stand wishy-washy.
Mm-hmm. Same here. Well, Corey, I want to thank you for being a guest on the show. What is the best way for people to find you online?
Well, I have my website. It's CallawayFinancialServices.com. My contact information is there. My email is there. Feel free to reach me. If you feel to look around at my content, as you said, I have over 10,000 words on my website. There's plenty of help there.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I had Brian Acosta on the show recently, and we actually were talking about you because we mentioned you are the perfect example of someone who has a massive amount of information on your blogs that you can take and repurpose that. I believe it was over 10,000 words. So this is not the first time you've been mentioned on the show.
That's great.
Well, Corey, thank you once again for being on the show, and I wish you all the best in your author journey ahead.
I appreciate it.
Thanks again for joining us today. To learn more about how you can be featured in our brand new Get Published business book, go to getpublishedpodcast.com.